Mr. Collins Atta Poku, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Emmanuel. How are you, yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Let's start a conversation from the tragic news that is trending right now. Nana Poku, Nana Pole, who has tragically lost his life. How is the mood in Kumasi?
It's been a very somber one, looking at how tense and in charge the Kotoko fans were at the National Circles Council press briefing at Malaysia today.
Yeah,
Events in his family house at Aswasi,
okay.
and then also events in front of the Babayara Sports Stadium. What he normally does is that when he's going for these away games, he'll park his motorbike there. There's this lady who has a shop just opposite the Babayara Stadium who takes care of the bike until he returns. And then the woman came back today and the bike was still there. He had not come for it last night and he burst into tears and all that. You go to the family house, it's same for the wife. She's inconsolable. And then there's Kotoko fandom. Are also not happy with the treatment that was meted out to them. And I've also spoken a lot about the fact that they went to Nsoatre with a human being and they returned with a dead body, something they are not happy with. So the atmosphere is one of a crestfallen group who are in mourning, who are in shock and visible disbelief, and angry in equal measure about the treatment that has been meted out to one of them. And then also reflecting on the fact that this thing has been happening for far too long and it could have been anybody at all other than him.
Yeah, I think we all share the emotions with Asante Kotoko fans, and every Ghanaian football enthusiast is kind of dejected right now. But can you brief us into what actually happened in Nsoatre?
Asante Kotoko went to play in Nsoatre in a game that was highly charged and highly tense. A team looking to win the league and another wanting to escape the abyss of relegation. And then also the fact that it's a game that is being played in the Bono Ahafo enclave, an area that is perceived by many as one of the hotbeds or flashpoints for hooliganism in our local league. When Kotoko got there, there were scaffolds in front of the main entrance because they had a 2M Express bus that had people that many in Nsoatre believe weren't part of the contingent. And they said they wouldn't let that bus enter. And in doing so, delayed the entrance of the Kotoko main bus. There was a scuffle on the pitch, really, and a free-for-all fight for everybody involved in the game, led in the brandishing of cards to some of the players. It got a spillover into the stands where there were altercations and fisticuffs. At some point, the owner of Nsoatre was actually pleading with the IMC members of Kotoko, notably James Kwesiapia, to come and help diffuse the tension. But they had stopped Kwesiapia from going into the dressing room at halftime. So he was also prevented by people closer to Kotoko from joining him on the pitch to do all that. So one thing led to the other, and then the altercation that was happening on the pitch that had spilled over into the stands, carried on, and then some hooligans barbarically murdered Pole by stabbing him. And many believe that he actually gave up the ghost before he was taken by an ambulance to the Nsoatre Health Center. So a recap of events. It was a sad day for Ghana football. And at no point should nobody go to the stadium and fail to come back home. Incredible scenes, one full of bitterness, anger, rancor, leading to a dastardly, cowardly act of stabbing a fellow fan and denying him the chance to be with his family and his colleagues and taking his life away from him.
Yeah, it's a sad story, but there's been this rumor that Pole was kind of targeted. Who was Pole? How was he like? How does he go about his business at match centers?
Avrimpon, as he's called and affectionately called Pole, is one of the most visible Kotoko supporters because you'd see him with his red beret, his jersey, and some funny shoes.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that is so clear with him is the Tontun Sansan, the gong that he
Yeah,
beats.
yeah.
And then you see him with his Kotoko flag, whether home or away, he'll be there doing his thing, chanting and charging his team on, telling everybody that Kotoko is the best, even when they are down by 3-0 and all that. So he's such a visible character. He was not one who shy away from confrontations, but he is not one that is usually involved in altercations and all that. So it's quite worrying that he would be targeted in that manner. But then again, when the confrontation spilled over from the pitch into the stands, there were a few bit of upheaval in there, and he was involved. And tempers were calmed. He actually apologized to the people around. So it's worrying that he was targeted. But obviously, when the Kotoko Bas was entering the pitch, he was there. And also in the altercation in the stands, he was there. So it's obvious that the odd guy out, the one that you can easily make out, is the one that was targeted in such manner. It's shameful, it's barbaric. Let's not try to diffuse tension by downplaying what has happened. This is an act of murder. It was premeditated, and it was not stabbed once, but it was stabbed multiple times, according to eyewitnesses.
Yeah. Let's talk about Nsoatre and the Bono region. This is the second time Nsoatre man has been in the news for the wrong reasons, and this is not the first Bono club that has been in the news for hooliganism. What really is happening when it comes to the Bono region and hooliganism and everything?
It would be unfair to class the entire region into a hooliganism bracket. Obviously, they have the most clubs in the Premier League when you take the Accra belt away. So it's quite obvious what would happen when they are involved. Beyond that, it's the most passionate region for football in this country. You've got to visit the region to see how they see football. And it's an antagonism that leads to some unscrupulous advantage on visitors and other people alike. It's one thing that everybody involved in football must understand and then preach, that football has gone beyond winning points at all costs, and that you can't lose human life, you can't lose property, all under the guise of football. Yes, just this January 22, just January 22, January. And at the beginning of January, they were charged when they played against me there. And now just some days or weeks down the line, you have this, and then the stadium has been closed. It's beyond on everybody to take a good look at what is happening, and also understand that we cannot continue to say that there are more clubs from Bono in the Premier League, so it's likely that these things will happen. But also take a good look at ourselves and say that human beings within the region must appreciate that football brings economic development, social development, and psychological development to everybody, and that for the Bono clubs to continue to be in the league, the supporters of these clubs would have to do the right things.
Right. So would you suggest that the chiefs in the Bono region, the police, the regional minister, they have to come together and then save the image of the region? Try and
absolutely
educate
everybody involved in every stakeholder involved in human organization, mobilization, and all that must come together, form a task force to start drumming home the education point to these people who are bad, terrible, and are causing so much havoc to the region's reputation within and without. And then also let the football owners understand that they can form a common umbrella or an ambit. After all, the president of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs is the Domahino Osaju Force, the first the Aduana PSA, who owns a Aduana football club. He can bring everybody together and explain these things to them that, look, it cannot continue to be like this. Football needs an enabling environment to develop, and I don't think the current climate in the Bono region is a good one for the development of football.
Right. So if they are to take that initiative, what are the punishments that you think will be okay in curbing these situations?
We've been banning stadiums. The Doma Stadium has been banned before. The Brekum Stadium has been banned before. But for were banned from the Sunyani Coronation Park, and Nsoatre has also been banned. Look, we've been doing this over and over again. I genuinely feel that football must collaborate with the security agencies and then work in such a manner that we can identify the troublemakers. We shouldn't shield them. Okay. The big players in the industry shouldn't send these boys to go and wreak havoc and then shield them. If we are able to jail a perpetrator or two, it will send a strong signal to everybody involved in some of these acts, and then we can save ourselves the trouble.
All right. Right now, the Ghana Football Association has suspended the Nsoatre Park. Do you think they should take it a step further?
How much can they do? The rest will be beyond their remit. They should collaborate with the security agencies and then work with Nsoatre to take full responsibility, identify people who were involved. There are videos footages, pictures, and everything around. Let's use it. Get these perpetrators, nab them out, arrest is done. People are charged with offenses. Then we can take it up from there. I feel the football fraternity cannot go beyond the usual. We've suspended your venue. We've banned you for this number of games. We've fined you this. At this point, it's a criminal action, one that the Ghana Police Service must lead, and then football would follow by providing the right information and enabling environment for them to flat out these hooligans individually and then prosecute them. Once we're able to do that, we would be able to send the strongest of signals to everybody who intends to do something dastardly as this going forward in the future.
Right. So another talking point that has come out of this situation is Nsotreman's statement, and now there's been that report that they've boycotted the league, or they are asking to draw from the league. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, we must take this football business seriously. Professionals must be employed to prepare some of these statements. If Nsoatre say that they are reliably informed that Pole was involved in an altercation with a fan at a drinking spot or pub, what it means is that they know who this fan is.
Okay.
And they know what he did with Pole, and that there would have easily been a plan for reprisal attacks on him. They failed security by not providing that information to the security. Again, also ask yourself, how are we able to smuggle knives into match venues? So that statement does a lot of harm to the brand of Nsoatre. It has been a very good club, one that just won our FA Cup, employed some of the brightest minds in our football, both in the technical area and in the management space. So I'm surprised that it's all unraveling this way. I've also heard reports that the owner intends to stop playing in the league. That is not in the best interest of the league and also in the best interest of the club. These things happen. This is not the first time. Kotoko has been involved in quite a number of this. May 9th, July 2009 in Kumasi, people have lost their lives in the stadium. We don't want to see it continue like that. But if we are going to change the narrative, then they are going to play a role in helping us change the narrative. So they must pay and desist from publishing such statements that will further expose them, and also commit such PR activities to competent people who have the wherewithal and are paid well to do this. That could be a colossal damage to the reputation of the club.
All right. I think we've done justice in addressing the issues from Nsoatreman's point of view. Now, from Asante Kotoko, what we are hearing is that the NCC are suggesting that Kotoko should boycott the league. Do you think a club like Asante Kotoko boycotting the league, what do you think will be the impact?
They are the strongest institution in the league. Boycotting the league will send a signal to everybody that things would have to be done right. We can't continue like this. They must lead for the others to follow. And that's the time for them to show leadership. It's even long overdue. I understand the ramifications and where the club comes from and all that, the royalty and all. But take the lead, take action. Kotoko wanted to boycott the game at some point yesterday. Pole died before Nsoatre scored their goal. Pole died in the stadium. Pole died even before the game ended. Kotoko wanted to stop the game when the scuffle ensued, and then reliably informed that when they attempted to do so, George Vorma, the referee, told them that they had spoken to the big bosses in Accra and they had told them to continue. You are there, you see the security situation cannot be protected. Why would you want to continue playing when you know very well the situation at hand? These are the things that they must lead. You don't leave things to the GFA. No, they've shown time and again that they are not good enough for this. This is their biggest brand. This is what they owe. But look at how they are treating it. It's not the best.
On the GFA, what does it speak of them? Looking at the incidences we've had in our stadiums and everything, what does it speak of the Kotoko administration?
Well, it's another low for them. This shows you where anybody brainwash you with any branding game. The love will not come back if you do this route. The love would not come if we decide to do this. Kids, young boys wouldn't be out to the stadium because their parents fear for them. Parents themselves won't come. Now ask yourself, a league match from the UK or any other thing happening, would you want to go and watch that one instead of what the exact thing you intend to do is? Can you think about that? You wouldn't want to go because look, you are not safe. And from what has happened, what has ensued, it's pretty clear that we are not safe and it sends the wrong signal to everybody.
Would you say that Kotoko Fan is the worst GFA president we've had?
Somebody is dead.
And everything.
Somebody is dead. Somebody just lost their life. The verdict is there for everybody to see. I genuinely would want us to continue focusing on the situation at hand and not generally extend it to him. But the verdict is out there for everybody to see. Like we just said, that Nsoatre were charged against Mediama. Quickly down the line, we have this. The verdict is there for everybody to see. Now, the most important thing is let's focus on somebody who has just lost his life because he loves football. And then ask yourself, Emmanuel, would you advise any of your friends to go to a Ghana Premier League League venue, spend their money to go and do all these things, and then they're not even assured of life?
Yeah, it's a sad situation. But would you suggest that a club like Accra Hearts of Oak, the DMS, and the other clubs join Asante Kotoko in boycotting the league so that they send the signal that you are talking about?
Everybody involved in football in the Premier League has come close to this before. They've been beaten or assaulted one way or the other at a venue. Ole is just a victim of circumstances. It could have been anybody at all. Everybody should join hands. All of them should take a stance, not against the FA, not against anybody, but against themselves, and then commit to a peace pact that we will not allow this and we will not continue to do this to ourselves. The football must grow. And these clubs are major stakeholders in my view.
So you think this is the right time for the clubs to own the league?
Absolutely. It's a watershed moment for them. And the act Untold was perpetrated by a Premier League club on another Premier League club. They come together and say that enough of this pettiness, enough of this rancor. Let's do something positive for ourselves. Let's generate money and then build a healthy football economy that everybody can benefit from. We shouldn't be on GhanaWeb talking about all the negative things about the football when there are some positive signs we could look at. But each passing week, these clubs give us a reminder why we should be overly involved in the negatives that comes out of our league.
Atta Poku, if the clubs are to petition the FA on things that they feel it should be done right, what are the things that you are expecting to see in that petition?
You see, the funny thing is that we have Galka.
Okay.
The new chairman of Galka is the head of security at the FA, or the security coordinator. What are they going to petition about? They should sit down among themselves and decide. That football association is nothing without these clubs. The clubs are the most powerful component of the FA. And the Premier League is the highest league in the land. The clubs involved should take a stance. All of them should come together and work for the common good. Nobody needs to petition any FA. They can't do anything. And when the clubs decide to do it, they would follow. And that's why the clubs must take the lead in this step.
All right. It's been an interesting conversation, and I mean a sad one, which involves someone losing his life because he loves football. We will go for a quick break. When we come back, we will enter into Black Stars conversation. That will be a short conversation on the Black Stars before we wrap up on the show. So, Poku, we will touch on Black Stars a few questions and then we wrap up.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't let you go without asking you about Black Stars. So, yeah. All right. Welcome back from the break. And as I said initially, yes, we are going to delve into the Black Stars. And we have a new Black Stars management committee. And of course, if you have football experts like Collins Atta Poku, we want to get their thoughts on the management committee and the future of the Black Stars. First of all, Atta Poku, what's your thoughts on the new management committee setup?
I have a long-standing position on this management committee thing. It's something that I don't think it's right and proper. And it's something that I feel that we should all forfeit and forget about it. But it's still there. The names on the management committee really fills me with some confidence and hope. Genuinely, Black Stars are in the last chance saloon. I'm closer to Randy Abe, I'm closer to Qatar, but I'm very close to Moses Ama, I'm very close to Stephen Appiah, I'm very close to Mr. Nsoatre. I've had conversations with these people over the period, talking about things that happened there and all. And their frustration about Black Stars and how much things are not happening. I genuinely will be surprised if you don't improve. And if you are unable to rescue the team with these people in charge, I doubt any other persons or group can do this for us. Because absolutely, Stephen Appiah carries his weight in gold. Moses Ahmad that same, and Odi that same on that committee. So I want to see how far we can go. But if we are unable to bring life into the Black Stars with this current crop, then I'm afraid we should all forget about it.
Someone would ask that Stephen Appiah was appointed in this on this committee some time back, but he resigned. What do you think influenced his decision to accept the job again?
So I was with him when Ghana played one of the games in Kumasi, and he was so hurt. He was so hurt about the current state of our national team. He had reservations and a personal position that he felt the principles at play wouldn't help him. He's not the only person who had declined this. Our own Sami Kuffour left the Black Stars Management Committee for reasons best known to him, meaning that there were things happening that they weren't happy with. But now I feel that he sees that we can't go any lower than where we are currently. We are at an all-time low and at our lowest ebb. And he feels that this is the time to come in and help. You can't allow it to continue to fester like this. And I feel that he's seen that we are in a very despicable moment, desperate situation, one that needs salvaging, and one that meets his current principles, where he will be allowed to take decisions and do what he wants to do. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why he's jumped at it. He loves this team desperately and passionately supports it anytime it plays. And it hurts him just like any other Ghanaian as to why we are not good anymore. And I'm pretty sure he can do things to help us going forward. If this crop, including I'm afraid we should forget about it.
Okay. I think I'm reading some of people's reaction, and the reaction have been that Stephen Appiah are talking about involving former players in football administration and all that. Some people are of the view that Stephen Appiah is starting his journey into becoming a football administrator.
Well, I'd love to see him get involved in football more than what he's doing currently. He's somebody that respects people and that he wouldn't want to say things that will hurt you. This is not the first time he's been with the Black Stars. In 2019, when we went to Egypt, he was part of the management team. I'm hoping that this would be a catalyst for him to bring his enormous wealth of experience and contact and network to our football. He's one of the greatest we've ever produced. He's seen it to the very highest level across different continents and countries, playing to satisfy his club bosses and also to Ghanaians. He must take this opportunity and make us better and also bring his network to bear on our football. We desperately need him, his wealth of experience, and then his network.